Man is suffering, but women don't know it. I once saw these words painted on a small bus in Accra, Ghana. Perhaps this is the essence of what Walter wants to say in this book. The unfinished manuscript lay on his desk at the time of his sudden death, October 13th, 1979. The first 2 chapters were written in his generous longhand with notes on the margin to be included in his second draft. The final section, The Free Man, was found only in skeleton form, like the bare bones of a tree in winter, that give us only the form of how beautiful the tree would be in spring, summer, and fall. Walter was one of them. Walter had the courage for the preliminary, the provisional, and for the temporary. It belongs to being redeemed, to be satisfied with the provisional, the temporary. Ingrid Trobisch.
The Typical Man, a lament by Kurt Tucholsky, 1931. The typical man. He's the misunderstood man. He has a car, a job, a home, and a position. He has a bank account for food, gas, and tuition. He also has his opinion, contra or pro, and even has a wife. But this he may not know. He calls her mommy or baby with a smile and happy pat. He's a man, and that is that. He's the self-sufficient man who feels that a woman will never quite understand, ever.
I first heard Kurt Tucholsky's poem in 1976, 45 years after it was written, being performed by a cabaret singer. In the tone of her voice, the singer expressed all her hostility toward men, thus winning the sure sympathy of the women who were listening. She flung the staccato words, man, 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 like a drumbeat into the auditorium. Drums, loud and hard, without concern for sacrifice, without the luxury of violins and flutes and soft intertwining melodies. That is what a man is. Alas, of course, the figure in Tucholsky's lament is a caricature and makes its point by exaggeration. But is there not, as with every exaggeration, a kernel of truth that can only be expressed this way? It is debatable whether this kernel of truth holds only for the German man, or whether it applies to men everywhere and is just more pronounced in the German variety. The path of my life has led me to countries all over the world, and I must confess that I find there is a kernel here that is true for men in general, including me. Be that as it may, as they read this poem, men involuntarily ask themselves why they feel so misunderstood. If they are truly so self-sufficient and contented, then what torments them so that a woman will never quite understand? In the following pages, I would like to offer my thoughts on this question.